Hi, YouTubers. Welcome back. My name is Natalka, and I have another no-bake dessert for you guys today. So last week I did the whole frozen dessert. Well, this time it's going to be one that just goes into the fridge. And I'm going to show you guys how to make Boston cream squares today. And this one is a little bit on the low sugar side. It probably could be made with like almost zero sugar, almost, I think. Almost. But it also doesn't have to be made with low sugar. It's just what I happen to have in my pantry right now. So let's get to it, and I will show you guys how to make these Boston cream squares. All right, so to get started, I am using these social tea biscuits, one sleeve of them. If I had Nilla cookies, I would use those. I am using 6 ounces, which works out to be about 50 cookies, I think, roughly. And you're going to crush them all up. If you don't feel like doing this, you could also use graham cracker crumbs. A food processor would definitely be quicker. So once you have them crushed, put them in a bowl. Then you're going to add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar to them. You're going to add a half a cup of melted butter. And because I'm using these social tea biscuits, I had tried 1 or 2 and they were kind of flavorless. So I'm adding some vanilla into mine just to help bring out a little extra flavor in these cookies. Mix it all together and it'll kind of become like sticky sand almost. All right, so then you're going to put it into a pan. I am using just a little baking dish because my husband can put this in his lunch and take it to work with him. But otherwise, all of it's going to go into an 8x8 baking dish that I have lined with parchment paper and sprayed with just a little bit of Pam. And you're just going to press that all down into the bottom of your pan. I used my muddling tool. You could use a spoon, your hand, whatever you'd like. Just press it all down into the bottom of that pan. And then you're going to take it and pop it into the freezer for about 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, so next is the custard part. So I am using 2 packages of instant vanilla pudding mix, 2.5 cups of cold heavy cream, so whipping cream, and a splash of vanilla. And I'm going to mix that all together. And it is really, really, really thick. So my hand mixer was not cutting it. It was not becoming smooth. So I changed my mind and I put it into the bowl of my stand mixer with the paddle attachment. And then I put it on the stir option so that it would mix really slow. And as it was mixing, then it became very smooth and silky. So beautiful. That's what I was looking for. All right. So like I said, it is really thick. Next, you're going to get your baking dishes, your base, your cookie base, and you are going to put your custard on top of it. So I'm starting with just my little baking dish, the one that I'm making for my husband. And I'm going to put a little layer of my custard, my pudding mix on top of it and just spread it around. After that, I'm just going to take all the rest and put it on my cookie base of my 8x8 inch pan. And you're just going to spread it all around, make it all smooth. Now, it is very thick. You probably do not need to put it into the fridge for like a half hour to set because it feels like it's already kind of set. But put it in the fridge at least for 10 minutes. Let it firm up a little bit. Even if it's only for those 10 minutes while you're making the chocolate, it'll help. So pop it into the fridge for a few minutes and let's move on to making the chocolate part. So for the chocolate ganache part that you're putting on top of your squares, I have 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips in a bowl. And then I took 2/3 cup of heavy cream, so whipping cream, and I put it in the microwave for probably 1 to 2 minutes. No, probably 2 minutes, not 1. And I warmed it up until it was bubbling or simmering. You could do it on the stove as well and bring it to a simmer, but the microwave is easier. So you heat up your cream and then you pour it over top of your chocolate chips and you let it sit for about a minute or 2. And then you very gently start mixing the cream into your chocolate chips, and it gently melts them. That's what you want. You want the hot cream to gently melt your chocolate chips. This prevents your chocolate from breaking or turning hard, anything like that. So as you notice it's melting, then switch to a whisk and whisk it until it is all smooth. Once it's smooth, you're going to grab your squares out of the fridge and you're going to pour your chocolate on top of the squares and you're going to spread it out. Now you can spread it out completely smooth if you want, or you can do like I'm doing, and I'm putting like a little ripple effect on top of my chocolate. Once that's done, you're finished. Pop them into the fridge, let the chocolate set, and then we're going to move on to cutting them into little squares. All right, so the whole purpose of getting you to put the parchment paper in your pan is exactly for this reason, so that you can just lift your squares out of the pan without any trouble. All right, so now to cut these squares, I am using a hot knife. So I took my knife and I have it sitting in a glass of hot water. Then I just wipe my knife off and make a cut. And then I put it back in the glass of hot water, let it heat up again, and then wipe it off and then slice again. And I keep repeating this process because it'll create a really smooth cut and it'll cut right through that chocolate without breaking it. And it'll give you like really pretty looking squares if you want that. Otherwise, you don't have to do this. Just grab a knife, cut them up, and go and enjoy them. But if you're looking for nicer presentation, heat up your knife first and then keep repeating that process. All right, you guys. So this recipe was super easy. As you saw, I did use the sugar-free vanilla pudding mix. You don't have to. It's just what I had in my pantry. I do actually like the combination of the sugar-free vanilla pudding mix, but then having normal semi-sweet chocolate and having that little bit of sugar in the cookie base. It balances really well and doesn't make it overly sweet. So you don't have to do that. Of course, use whatever you would like. You could also do this completely sugar-free if you want. There are ways to do it by using sugar substitute, the zero sugar chocolate chips, which I cannot get my hands on here. I would love to, but I can't. Yeah, so there are ways to do it. This is just the way I chose to do it. I hope you guys loved it. I hope you guys give it a try. They turned out fantastic. I used a hot knife and I dipped it in the hot water, let it heat up, wiped it off, and then sliced them. And it creates a very nice, clean slice when you do that. It also helps that it cuts right through the chocolate without breaking it. So that's really useful as a little kitchen hack for you guys. Also, the other hack is I didn't make pastry cream. I used the instant vanilla pudding mix as a shortcut. So I think it does taste quite good. It does taste like the Boston cream filling you would find in a donut. I think they turned out fantastic. Oh, very, very good. Okay, you guys know what to do. Share the video, comment on the video, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that wonderful stuff. That is it for today's video. So thank you guys all so much for joining me, and I will see you for my next recipe.